Today we are going to be filing criminal charges in connection with last Thursday's tragic crash that killed 6 people and injured 6 others. Ms. Nicole Linton will be charged with six counts of murder and 5 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter. The 6 counts of murder pertain to the 5 people that were killed in a horrific crash, as well as an unborn baby who was also killed.
It's a terrible, terrible case out of Los Angeles, California. That was the DA. And we have video of what happened. It's surveillance video. But as you heard from the prosecutor there, it was a terrible, fatal crash, took all these lives. But we have the surveillance video. So I've given you the warning. If you want to look away for a moment, we're going to show it to you right now. Let's take a look at it. You saw the incredible rate of speed, going through a red light, and those lives taken. Here is the LA County DA, George Gascon, speaking about the details of what happened.
Last Thursday at about 1:40 p.m., Ms. Linton was driving on La Brea Avenue when her car struck several vehicles as she was crossing an intersection. In an instant, Ms. Linton alleged conduct to the lives of 6 people and injured many others. Her vehicle sheared a car that exploded into flames. That car contained an expectant mother, Ashley Ryan, the father of the unborn child, who's not yet been identified, a 1-year-old boy who was in a car seat, and unfortunately that was not enough to protect him. A young family was destroyed at a blink of an eye. Linton's vehicle then collided with another car, killing 2 women and a Nissan Altima, who sadly have yet to be identified. Her vehicle also careened into an SUV containing a family of 7. Thankfully, only minor injuries out of this crash. The SUV struck another vehicle, also injuring a car driver. And then several other vehicles were struck in the crash, but there were no additional serious injuries. Preliminary investigation shows that Linton may have been traveling at approximately 90 miles an hour when she ran through a solid red light. If convicted as charged, Ms. Linton faces up to 90 years to life in prison. While the wreckage of this ferry crash at the intersection was removed and traffic eventually resumed, there's catastrophic damage to the families and friends of those killed and injured. It's not only a tremendous loss to the families, but to our entire community who learned of this incredible tragedy or watched the now viral video of the collision. I'm sure this is a great time of great sorrow for grieving, for the families grieving, and friends of those who will forever be affected by this. My office will do all the work that we can with the families during this difficult time. Our Bureau of Victim Services will provide services and assistance to those that need it. I also want to thank the CHP for the incredible work that they did in this investigation. This is a complex and ongoing investigation, but the work that was done during this preliminary work created the tools necessary for us to make an informed charge decision. I also want to thank our members of our staff, our prosecutors who have worked throughout the weekend to make sure that we bring this case to justice.
I want to bring back in our think tank, Dina Sayegh-Dahl, Michael Sterling, Rick King. Dina, I want to start with you. You're in Los Angeles. And here's where I'm coming at this one from. This prosecutor has been criticized for being soft on crime, criticized by people like me as well in some of the cases that he's handled. And I'm really confused here as to what's going on. And maybe you have some insight into what's happening in Los Angeles, but this was a crash. This was incredibly tragic, and it's murder charges. Many states, you might not get murder charges for running a red light at a high rate of speed and people losing their lives. But in Los Angeles, with a prosecutor who's been criticized and potentially up for recall because of being soft on crime and being criticized by victims, in this case, we're looking at 90 years to life. What's going on?
Well, one of the things he's most criticized for is actually things like not allowing for enhancements. I mean, the prosecutors under him are really upset about that. So that doesn't quite apply in this situation. And you're right, he's facing a recall. It's very possible that he doesn't want to seem to be less aggressive in this political moment. But I think the key here is that this woman, I mean, this is like in the middle of Los Angeles, not that far from SoFi Stadium. As you see there, it's the middle of the day. And she didn't just speed and run a red light. She had had 13 prior crashes. And I think that's what led him to include the murder charges and not just the vehicular manslaughter, because of the frequent amount of crashes that she'd had, and the fact that, you know, this is broad daylight, and I think that there probably was this kind of swell of maybe holding somebody really accountable for something like this.
Rick King, your thoughts? To me, it's unusual. We cover cases like this around the country, and it's rare. We did see in Milwaukee with the defendant who drove through the parade purposely, running people down. This is a little different than that, but maybe it's similar. How do you see this one? 90 years to life, murder charges. You usually don't hear murder associated with car crashes as described by the prosecutor himself.
No, Vinny, and actually, you know, when I took a look at this case, I felt like maybe it was somewhat of an overreach, but there were also some other factors I think were involved with it. I think, and I believe there was some conversation about maybe she had been drinking, and I think and I also believe the combination of, as was said, the 13 previous crashes have a lot to do with it. That being said, you're right. It's kind of it's an outlier in how these cases are normally charged, and I expect to see some mitigation before we actually when we get down the road on this case.
And I don't want people to misinterpret me that I'm saying that they should go light on her. I'm just pointing out, Michael Sterling, that it really struck me that this is going to be a murder case for a motor vehicle crash, as described by the prosecutor. He called it a crash. I don't know if she was doing it on purpose. Obviously, she's driving on purpose. She's speeding. She's going through the red light, doing all of that, and doing such horrible damage. Your thoughts tonight?
Yeah, Benny, I agree with you. It's unusual to see, even oftentimes in cases that involve DUIs, you see vehicular manslaughter charged, or some lesser included offense, some sort of manslaughter offense. And so far, they haven't been able to demonstrate, at least from all of the articles and information I've read, that she had any drugs or alcohol in her system, and they seem to be pretty certain that she did not. So the question then becomes, you know, where do you get sort of this high level of recklessness from? And obviously you can get that from the speed, you can get that from the previous crashes. I have no doubt that each of those previous crashes will be litigated for their particular circumstance. I've already seen somewhere where it says that 2 of the 13 crashes, someone hit her from behind. So obviously the facts and the circumstances have to play themselves out in a way, you know, that we do in courts of law. So, you know, I understand, you know, with all of the media attention, with the way the crash looked, with her driving 90 miles per hour in the middle of a day on a street, not on a highway, but on a street. I'm familiar with this. My wife's from California. I'm familiar with that neighborhood, that intersection. It's not too far from my mother-in-law's house. So I'm familiar with that. So it does seem a bit
All right, I think Michael froze there for a moment.
charged.
Gotcha, Michael, you just broke up there for a moment. We'll get that all fixed.
Oh.
When we come back, Time to hear from you, our 13th juror. Obviously, this case we're going to continue to track. It's on our docket. We'll let you know when she's back in court.